Now, a lot of people have been looking at these latest requirements on businesses and wondered, well, it's just a matter of time then before states are going to have to raise taxes anyway. As Christina pointed out, in New Jersey, the so-called Millionaire's tax is already in effect. It was retroactive. Get a load of this, to the beginning of this year. So it wasn't just a new phenomenon. I mean, you have to pony up for this from the beginning of the year. New York could be looking at something similar to go after the high net worth individuals. Gary Kaltbaum here on that. Rebecca Walser on that. Rebecca, how significant will this be for residents in these states if before they address any spending, governors zero in on just, raising more money to spend?
Neil, this is a case for why every governor should have a degree in economics, in my opinion, and certainly maybe even a little bit of tax law knowledge. I think retroactive tax laws should be unconstitutional, almost as a taking. And that's spoken from a tax law perspective as a tax attorney. Why I will tell you that, Neil, is if you look at what New Jersey has done, they have retroactively to January 1st of this year raised the rate from 8.75 to 10 or 8.97 to 10.75, almost a 2% increase, which people might be saying, oh, that's nothing. But I want you to understand something. Effective November 1st, they have raised the payroll tax withholdings to over 21% to catch up. So imagine you're a business owner or you're some kind of entrepreneur. You just have a regular job and you've done all that you can do to stay employed, to keep the economy going through all the craziness of 2020. And the last 2 months of the year, right before Christmas, they're going to raise the withholdings to 21% plus, no matter if you can afford it or not. It's just too bad. And this is why, Neil, it's total lunacy and people are leaving and they will continue to leave. You do not go and tax what is actually the one thing that can help your state recover.
I'm thinking of where you are, Gary Kaltbaum, and over the years I've known you and relied on your expertise. And you talk about a low tax environment, almost a zero tax environment as in Florida. They must love it every time they hear these kind of plans being discussed, right? I mean, maybe for you it just means a more crowded state. And so you'll have to keep the gate up on your compound. But I'm wondering how the low tax states respond to all of this. They must just say, hey, we're open for business.
Well, I can tell you they're just providing great advertising for states like Florida and Texas. And what amazes me is they think they're going to raise revenue by raising taxes on their best clients who can easily move. And they have all the evidence in the world that a lot of these people are already moving because of the disrespect of these people's wallets, yet they keep doing it. And they're going to end up with less revenues over time and less of an economic force over time because more and more are going to head over here. And I can tell you, I'm about 15 miles northeast of downtown Orlando. I can't begin to tell you how many medical centers and apartments and houses are being put up. All my friends in South Florida keep telling me they can't even keep houses and condos. They keep being bought up left and right. And where are all these people coming from? They're coming from New Jersey, New York, and believe it or not, from California, because California even trumps Jersey with, I think they're about 13% tax on people's earnings at a certain level. So just a huge mistake, and it's just going to get worse and worse for them.
If I could switch to the markets right now, Rebecca, the S&P and the NASDAQ started out in record territory. I don't know if they're still in record territory right now. The Dow not all that far. And I'm just wondering, what is driving this market run up with all the doubts and concerns you've both raised very eloquently? I'm just wondering whether the markets are ahead of themselves, seeing past all of this, looking at maybe, we talk about 2020 and what a surprisingly strong year it's ended up being. Some are saying it's the 1920s all over again, just a century later. What is it?
Well, it's a mixed bag right now, Neil, but what I will tell you is I think that the markets are, enjoying the fact that they see a light at the end of the tunnel and that we're getting really close with the vaccines, with Moderna now coming really close to the second one. So people are saying, okay, logic tells me if I have a vaccine, if I'm afraid to go out, if I'm afraid to go live my life again, go on a cruise, go on a flight, go to a business conference, if I'm afraid, I can take this vaccine when it's eventually available and our economy will start to recover. So the market is thinking economic recovery, but I will tell you, there's a warning here because I've already seen doctors and politicians say that even with the vaccine, you might still not be able to travel. You might still not be able to do these things, which is absolutely ludicrous. That makes no sense. If you are totally vaccinated from anything, why can't you go back to normal? So we have to be careful that we understand that if people take a vaccine, especially one that's been processed this quickly, that we're going to allow them to return and resume their lives. Our economy, 70% consumer spending. We cannot indefinitely stimulate. It will not work forever. So let's get this done and let's get back to normal. And anything short of that, I'm going to have to say, totally unacceptable. We can't have it both ways. You can't say stay shut down and take this vaccine and don't live your life. Get on with the program here. This is getting ridiculous.
They say that could be a ways off, though, Gary. And it gets back to the question, the markets have heard those warnings and largely ignored the import of those warnings. Why?
Well, let me give you the good news. Corporate America is just terrific. As I go through companies, they just do a terrific job of managing their businesses through a pandemic. It's been that tough, but there's still plenty of companies that are scoring big earnings and revenue gains, not cruise lines right now, not airlines, but a whole host in technology and medical, things like that. The bad news, though, and you saw it yesterday at 2:30 p.m. with Jay Powell's interview, and that is there is no number too high that he is not going to press a button on a computer and print money, and he says it, to buy up assets, and that is fueling a lot of this. The dollar is sinking like a stone, which is helping commodities, which is helping oil prices now, and which is helping the markets. And I'm just worried we're not in the 1920s. I'm worried we're in 1999 as we're seeing blind pools go up fourfold. We're seeing Bitcoin going insane, biotechs with no sales skyrocketing. So I think right now we're in a sweet spot. I think we're going higher into the first quarter. I'm a little bit worried if it gets too frothy and speculative going into the middle of next year because of what he's doing.
All right, we'll have to watch closely. To your point, there are a number of people, a pretty healthy plurality, who feel as you do, Gary. So if you want to just buy the contrarian view of things, there's a significant number of people who are concerned about this, that it's not too frothy yet. How long that carries you, I have no idea. But guys, thank you both very, very much. I hope you have a wonderful, safe holiday, healthy holiday at that. All right.